Can we talk about Meg Thee Stallion a little bit? Because I feel like that's also very relevant to what we're discussing now and how the media has sort of been treating her since what happened over the
I want to contrast her and Meghan Markle, actually, and Beyonce in the conversation, because I just don't pick a fight.
Okay. So somehow, Meghan getting shot in the car turned out to be her fault.
Well, let me say this. Black women are 35% more likely to be victims of domestic violence. We are among the least likely to report for obvious reasons related to racism and policing and brutality. And if you're going to argue with me about police officers, I'm going to tell you I'm from Chicago, where we have the only American police torture center commemorating a legacy of police officers torturing people.
I mean,
to force them to confess to crimes they didn't commit. So don't talk to me about whatever you're going to say. I'm a Chicago girl. That conversation's over. And I'm going to say this. People tend to think, well, it must be that Black girls are more likely to be victimized because they are bringing it on themselves. And there's someone, as a matter of fact, who has a question. Have either of you had to unlearn any internalized misogyny yourselves? I definitely have. It's not comfortable or easy to talk about. And here's the thing. Yes, absolutely. And the reason I say this is because one of the first things I personally had to learn was that blaming victims of domestic violence has very little to do, well, she must have done something, has very little to do with any grasp of reality. You don't really think they did something. Right. What you really think is that you're uncomfortable with addressing the fact that someone is abusing young Black girls. And I'm going to bring in that man whose name I don't say, because the next time I speak it, I want it to be an epitaph. Yeah. But the reason that they're more likely to be victims isn't because they're doing something. It's because it's easier to get away with.
Exactly. Right? I'll never forget. So I remember doing a story on domestic violence shelters and Black women in particular. And I'll never forget having this conversation with the director of, the former director of a shelter in the Chicagoland area, where she talks about how differently Black victims were treated than white victims. And that whenever Black victims came for help, it was always assumed that they had done something to put themselves in that predicament. They were never given any grace, any compassion. It was very cold, and contrast that with, a white victim who just, who comes in and gets the love and support, and, it's like night and day. And so, but it's like you said, it's so insidious, and it happens so often, and we don't speak up because we don't think we're ever going to get that support. We suffer in silence.
Well, and I'll say this, someone who's been in that situation and left. If I had listened to family members, some former friends, I might still be there, right? Because people will tell you what you cannot do. And we will see scenarios where women who leave, and I'm going to bring up Marissa Alexander here, or women who fight back are often punished for defending themselves, especially if they're Black. And the reason I said that I'm contrasting how Meg Thee Stallion has been treated with Beyonce and with Meghan Markle, right? Three different women.
Right.
None of them were doing it right. Not one. Misogynoir showed up for Meg Thee Stallion, and someone is going to say, well, she shouldn't have been with him, and she shouldn't dress that way, and she shouldn't sing those kinds of songs, and whatever.
And okay, cool. They have said that.
Right. Okay, cool. So we're going to move over to Beyonce, who is a megastar, and blah, blah, blah. And then it's, well, she shouldn't have stayed with her husband. She should have gone here. She should have done this. She should have done that. Because, again, she's not doing it right. Cool. Now we move over to Meghan Markle, and it's, well, she shouldn't have. She should be better. She should act better. Because here's the thing. We've got different complexions, different levels of fame, right? And we can throw in Oprah. We can throw in any Black woman who is highly visible and contrast with Black women who are not highly visible. And at every turn, the answer for each of them, right, from Michelle Obama to Serena Williams to any of the other people I have named, is that they're doing it wrong. Well, what are they doing wrong? Are they breathing wrong? Are they showing up and participating in the world wrong? Right? Because we're talking about people who are pursuing their dreams, who are putting out music or philanthropy or political figures or whatever.